y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel. If you're new here, this is Constellation Library. So today I am going to be going over all of the books that I got for Christmas from either my family, my husband, or with gift cards that I received and went out and purchased for myself. There are 24, 23, 23, 24. I'm bad at counting, but under 25 books. And they are all across age ranges and genres, though mostly fantasy because that seems to be my thing that I read. So the way that we are going to go through these, I'm going to start first with the middle grade, and then I'm going to talk about the young adult books and then the adult books. Many of these are really new to me and I don't know a lot about them, so I may just kind of hold them up and give you the title and the author, and that might just be it. So if you can't tell, I donated blood today, so I'm a little bit tired, but I wanted to make sure to get this video up and filmed before the new year because I have several other videos that I would like to do, and I feel like this one needs to be kind of the send-off for 2021. So without further ado, we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. The first, like I said, section that we're going to look at is middle grade, and the first book that I have from there is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. By the time that you're seeing this, I have uploaded my January TBR, and this is actually on my January TBR, and I've heard just really great things about this, and the representation of non-white characters is really awesome, and having a non-white author is really awesome. So definitely looking to branch out and diversify my reads. So I'm excited to see how I feel about this one. If I like it as much as everyone else does, I'm sure that I will. I'm a pretty easy sell. I enjoy lots of things that other people don't, and I enjoy lots of things people do. I just enjoy lots of things. So yeah. So if I say anything weird, just chalk up to the fact that I am not operating in my best capacity. I'm missing a pint of blood. So yeah. So that was the first book for the middle grade. The second one is Daughter of the Deep by Rick Riordan. I've heard that this is kind of his take on 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which I love. And I love anything that is set underwater. Like, that has always been a really interesting concept to me. So very excited. Plus Uncle Rick, I know that he is well loved. I've not read a lot of his work. I read The Lightning Thief and I didn't continue with that series. My husband has read all kinds of books by him, and we have them. They're like right over in this neck of the woods. So one day I will get to those, but this will be the next Riordan book that I read. The next one for middle grade is Wilder Lore, The Accidental Apprentice by Amanda Foody. I believe Amanda Foody also co-wrote All of Us Villains with Christina Lynn Herman, I think is her name. And I know that book has gotten a lot of positive praise, so I'm interested to see how she does in the middle grade genre. I have never read from this author before. She maybe has written lots of things in middle grade and does really well, but I was captivated by this cover, and I read the inside flap and just thought that it sounded really interesting. And basically the village that our main character lives in is pretty dull, and he is apprenticed to a mushroom farmer or something, and just kind of has his whole life planned out to be pretty simple. But then he wanders into the forest where the beasts are, where they've been told never to go, and kind of has this companionship form with a beast and gets ostracized from his town. And so he goes to another place where other people like him that have befriended beasts live and coexist with the beasts, and he basically has to decide, does he want to maintain this relationship that he's formed with this beast and go on adventures, or does he want to go back to the life he left behind? Something tells me he's not going to go back to the life he left behind, but I certainly wouldn't if I had like a big awesome wolf to ride around on. The fourth book is the last middle grade book that I purchased. This one I actually bought with a gift card, and that is The Girl Who Speaks Bear by Sophie Anderson. So this author wrote The House with Chicken Legs. I also own that one, have not read it yet, but I do plan to read a lot more middle grade this year, and I just have heard nothing but good things about Sophie Anderson's work, so I really wanted to try this one out. I do like that she seems to pull from different cultures in her work. I obviously am not the type of person who can really have a say on whether a culture is being appropriately represented. so hopefully it is. But I am sure that I'll enjoy it like anything else, and I'll certainly let you know if I don't. So those are the 4 middle grade reads. Oh, and I do have one nonfiction, which I'll go ahead and do now. And that is Save the Cat Writes a Novel. So a friend of mine had bought Save the Cat, like the original one that is for screenwriting, for me. And I had read through it, and I don't know why, but like I recognize that screenwriting and regular novel writing are really not too much different in terms of like the beats and how you tell the story. But this, I think, will speak a little bit more to me as a novel writer. And I've missed writing and I really want to get back into it. And I'm hopeful that I'll have time in 2022. If not, I'll definitely have time in 2023 because I'll be graduating at the end of 2022. And maybe I'll read this, tab it up, mark it up, take some notes, and then utilize it when I finally start writing again. So let me know if you've read this one, any writers out there that may follow me. Let me know if you have read this, what you think of it, if it was helpful to you. So the next stack is going to be young adult, which is not really in a great place on this chair that I have you attached to, so apologies for any shaking that happens. But the next 2 books are part of the same series, and that is The Prison Healer and The Gilded Cage. I'm not very good at juggling multiple books. Anyway, these 2, I believe there's a 3rd one that's coming out this year, but these have really great reviews on Goodreads, and I remember seeing really gorgeous editions from Fairy Loot, and I had not heard about them at all. So it took me a while to decide that I was going to purchase them and get into this series, but it just sounds really interesting. From what I understand, the main character has to essentially keep this rebel queen alive, and because she's terminally ill, and they need to go through this trial in order, I guess, to be set free, maybe? I'm not really sure. But the main character, Kiva, I think that's how you say her name, risks her own life and volunteers to take the queen's place because she is so sick. So if she succeeds, both she and the queen will be granted their freedom. See, I knew they got to be free. But no one has ever survived. Womp womp. So we'll see. Obviously she survives because there is a 2nd book and then a 3rd book. Spoilers, I know. But yeah. So those are 2 young adult books that I am very excited for. Again, the next 2 are part of a series, and I think that this is a duology. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm really not sure. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I feel like it is a duology. And that is We Hunt the Flame and We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faisal. And ever since reading City of Brass, I have been very interested in any stories that take place in kind of a Middle Eastern, North African type of setting. I am super pumped to get to this series. I really know nothing about it, other than I've heard, again, good things. So this is me being easily influenced, seeing Goodreads ratings, hearing people on BookTube that I respect saying how great it is. I believe that Jade from Jade Juniper had a lot of positive things to say about this one. So Jade, shout out to you. This is why I bought that. That's why I bought this one. So hopefully it's as good as you say it is. I trust you, trust your judgment. So I have those 2. Next is one that I thought was an adult novel, but it's definitely marketed, like the size of it, the cover of it, and everything is definitely marketed more towards YA. And that is The Midnight Girls by Alicia Jasinska, I think. And I'm fairly certain this is a sapphic fantasy story with 2 monstrous girls that kind of fall for each other. They're supposed to be eating hearts. Something, I don't know, truthfully, but it sounds interesting. It's short. I'm sure that it will be a quick read that I will fly through. It did get a couple of starred reviews, which is pretty nice. And then there's a little blurb from Amy Kaufman, and I enjoy her writing. So we'll see how I feel about this one. I had a gift card to Barnes & Noble for Christmas, and I managed to go like the first day of their 50% off hardback sale. So I kind of splurged a little bit on that. Which ones came? I think these 2 right here. And this one came from the Barnes & Noble sale. And then these next two came from the Barnes & Noble sale. This one I'm about to show you is actually the sequel to a series that I don't have the first one for, and that is Kingdom of the Cursed by Carrie Maniscalco. I am going to get Kingdom of the Wicked. Again, this is another one. I'm just like, am I going to get that? Do I want that? I don't know. But they had the Barnes & Noble edition of this one at Barnes & Noble, and it was 50% off. And I was like, well, why not? So I bought this one. I'll be picking up the first one at some point, hopefully starting this series this year. But it sounds good. I've heard this one kind of veers into the new adult territory, and that's kind of like the area of life where I would like to read from. I haven't outgrown YA at all, but I'm definitely more interested in stories that are of people closer to my age. I'm 30, so I'm kind of in this weird like age range. Well, I'm 31, but I'm kind of in this weird age range where I feel like I'm not adulty enough to be in more adult style fiction, and I'm not young enough to be YA or even new adult. I'm like somewhere in the middle. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I haven't read enough adult fiction and everybody's in their 30s, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah, there's that. I'm rambling as I do. The next book, again, 50% off from Barnes & Noble with the gift card, is Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. I will forever kick myself that I did not get approved for the Illumicrate edition of this in time. I just got my approval off the wait list for Illumicrate, so I'll be getting the January box, and I'm so sad to say that I missed out on the beautiful edition that they did of this, but it is what it is. This was another one I wasn't sure I was gonna buy. I had heard mixed things about her other work, The Merciful Crow, but this story just sounded really interesting. So we'll see how I feel. I love the cover though. Like, it gives me super, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Maiden, Mother, and Crone vibes, I guess. That's kind of what this gives me. So we'll see how I feel. I hope that it'll keep my attention, but we'll have to see. Those are all the young adult, and now we are getting into the adult books. So let's just get the big guys out of the way real fast because they are heavy, and it'll just be easier for me to hold them all up at once. So I have 3 of the 4 of these in paperback, but I wanted the hardback editions because I just wanted them. I like hardbacks, and my mother, wonderful mother, got them for me for Christmas. And that is the so far complete of what is already existing of the Stormlight Archive in hardback. And yeah, they're just really pretty. They're really heavy, so I'm going to set them down now. But they just, I just love them. I love them. My husband got me this book, and this is one that I have been questioning whether I wanted to get because it doesn't have super great reviews on, he looked over at me. It doesn't have super great reviews on Goodreads, but this sort of book I feel never has super great reviews because everybody judges horror and thrillers like really differently. What is scary to one person won't be scary to somebody else. So I feel like I can't really take what other people say about this to be fact because like I really like gothic style fiction, gothic horror. I love it. It's one of my favorite genres, and that's what this is, and the whole premise of it sounds super interesting, and that is The Death of Jane Lawrence. So I'm pretty pumped to read this one. I have just looked at it over and over again, and Goodreads has kept me from reading it, but I'm so happy he bought it for me, and I'm going to read this thing, and I'm honestly will be shocked if I don't like it because it sounds like it has all of the gothic horror tropes that I like. So I'm just telling myself maybe a bunch of people who read it didn't know how they felt about gothic horror. I don't know. We'll see what happens. The next one is the first in a companion series to An Ember in the Ashes, and that is A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I have not read An Ember in the Ashes. Again, this one was from Barnes & Noble for the 50% off sale, so I said, why not? And it sounds quite interesting. So I think it has, I think it's like a companion, or it maybe has characters that are in the other series that we're following in this one. I'm not sure, truthfully. I don't really know anything about this series other than it's supposed to be spicy. So, but but it'll be a while before I get to it. It's not like super high on my priority read list. So the next one is my in-person book club's pick for the month, and that is A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. I hope that I like this book as much as I think I'm going to like this book. It sounds very promising. There's like a cult setting, there's disappearances, there's somebody who's kind of like, I'm assuming psychic, because they use one item that belongs to somebody in order to find them when they're missing, which sounds kind of like a psychic or a medium. So I'm definitely intrigued by the premise of this, and I enjoyed The Wicked Deep by the same author, and I have the other book, Winterwood, by her as well, but I haven't read it yet. So yeah, I imagine that I will enjoy that one because it just, everything about it sounds like my cup of tea. But you know, I'll let you know. I am worried this is gonna fall. I hope it doesn't. So I'm actually missing one. So I think we actually have 25 books, but this one is supposed to be coming at some point after January 1st. I don't know why. I think I had to buy it third party from Amazon. I don't know if these are going out of print, and if that's the case, it's kind of sad. But the first book, which is technically the second book in the series, is Kingdom of Copper. I'm waiting on Empire of Gold, and this is another one that is on my TBR for January, I think. Yeah, it is. It is. I don't remember things. You'll have to forgive me. But I am very pumped to keep going with this series. I know my husband finished it. He said he really liked it, that it ended really well. Everything kind of wrapped up. So I love a story that ends well. So I hope to, like all the other books on my TBR, hope to get to this one this month in January. We'll see if it actually happens that way, because there's 9 books on that, and I am not a person who usually reads more than 4 or 5 books a month. And I'm probably gonna start early, like maybe I'll read a little bit of something tonight. So I do what I want. So yeah, so this one, and then Empire of Gold. The next one is a book that I have been wanting for a very long time, and I have kept putting it off because I keep seeing it in paperback, and I didn't want it in paperback because I just felt like this is one of those books that deserve to be in hardback, and that is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. This was another gift from my mother, and I love this edition of it. It looks so weathered and worn, and I just think that it is really, really pretty. So I believe that this is a Spanish classic. It's just very well known in the Spanish communities, and it is a book that I have heard about for years now, and actually a good friend of mine read it and said it was wonderful, and I trust her judgment on that sort of thing. We have very similar tastes in books, so I am pretty stoked to get to this one. I don't know when it's going to happen. I hope to read it this year. We'll have to see. I say that a lot. I'm excited, I anticipate, I'm interested, we'll have to see. Those are like my mantras, but it's true. Oh, let's see. Okay, and then here are 2 others that are part of a series. And I believe that this is a ongoing series, but I have the 2 that are available now, and I'm so happy to have them in hardback. And that is The Rage of Dragons and The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter. He is an author of color and the fantasy genre, which is awesome. Love hearing more and more authors of color getting traction and being like popular and stuff, apart from your regular white guy fantasy authors that have been popular forever. Let's make some room for some new voices. So very, very excited to read. Again, heard amazing things, have been recommended this book countless times as a good one to read if I want to do high fantasy. Don't mind me, I'm gonna use it to get my hair out of my face. But I mean, what can go wrong with dragons and battles and sword and sorcery and all that sort of thing? So pretty pumped about that. Love hardbacks. Feeling very bougie with all my hardbacks. And then the final book is actually a graphic novel. It's definitely geared more towards adults, and I have the first 5 volumes of this, and this is the 6th volume, and it is Lady Mechanica Sangre. I don't think I'm saying that right, but it's spelled Sangre. This is by Joe Benitez, and each of the volumes are like kind of a different story arc, and I don't really think that they connect too much. There might be some throwbacks mentioned to other story arcs that happen beforehand, but for the most part they are their own contained tales for each volume. So I have read, I think, pretty much all of this except for maybe the last issue. My brother had been buying these for me in the single issues, and I feel like I was halfway through the last one, or I had just started it and then misplaced it, and then we moved and I have no idea. I couldn't even tell you where it is. I think it got shuffled in with some papers and eaten in by the oblivion of our old house. So I look forward to reading through this one again just to refresh my memory, and I really recommend this series, by the way. Like, super good series. Definitely drawn, the main character is definitely drawn through the male gaze, has that typical very busty hourglass sort of figure of the main character, but I don't mind. Some people mind, but I don't mind, but just so you know. So if I count 1, 2, 3, so yes, 25. So there actually will be 25 once the other one comes, but 25 books that I got for Christmas. I feel very fortunate and blessed and loved by my family and my friends and everybody who considered me to buy me gifts or to give me gift cards to bookstores. You all know me so well, so thank you endlessly for your generosity. Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates Christmas. It is several days past, but just figured I'd send the well wishes out. We're a few days away from the new year. I am so pumped for the new year. I'm trying not to be overly excited because I feel like that's how it gets you all excited, and then it's like, oh, just kidding, it's gonna be worse than last year. So we'll see if that happens. I really hope it's not. I hope for better days. It's the only thing I can do. But anyway, there's my book haul. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you stayed this long, pretty sure this one's based on vampires. Put a little vampire emoji in the comments if you made it this far. And yeah, as always, I appreciate you so much for being here. If you'd like to subscribe, drop a like, little ring the notification bell, all that stuff. I don't normally ask for that sort of thing, but if you would like to, I'd appreciate it. I have some goals for this channel, for my Instagram and everything for this year, and every subscriber helps me reach those goals. So if you're interested, if you liked what you saw, if you like me, please consider subscribing, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.